PUBG Patch 29.1 is here. We've got some really awesome changes coming to the game. I'm super excited for this new collaboration as well, along with some buffs and some nerfs. So we're going to dive into that here. We're going to start off by watching this video. But if you haven't yet, please make sure you subscribe over on YouTube for more PUBG update, case openings, highlight reels, and more. Let's dive in.
Welcome to update 29.1.
Ooh, that looks sick.
The new environmental destruction feature.
All right, so first off, we've got destructive environments. This is super cool. I don't know if this hole right here is implying that you can also blow up the wall. I haven't seen a lot of footage around that yet, but it's definitely the ground. You're going to be able to use a pickaxe,
and a new weapon.
C4, grenades, Panzer to make cover for yourself. Super cool.
Rondo, fresh gunplay adjustments, and an iconic collaboration.
We'll talk about it in a second, but the AKM actually gets a buff. I think it was amazing before, just ever so slightly more amazing now. We'll talk about that in just a minute.
That's sure to catch your eye. Let's get
this
right
bike looks dope.
First, as outlined in our 2024 roadmap, the environmental destruction feature will be first added to Rondo. Use the pickaxe, a newly added melee weapon, to carve out new attacks.
The pickaxe looks clean too. I actually like this. They're making the weapons, the melee weapons, more useful in the game. If you guys haven't tried this yet, by the way, if you're ever running around trying to find a gun off of a drop, pick up the melee weapons, because it only takes about two hits if you throw them at someone to actually get a kill with it. So they're actually a lot stronger than you think.
Attack routes or construct defensive barriers.
I wonder how long it took the devs here to farm that out. That looks like enough that you might be able to crouch down right behind it. I would say probably crouch. Yeah, you could definitely prone. I think a crouch.
We hope this will unlock the possibility for players to experience
there we go.
an enriched layer of strategy and tactics. Furthermore,
why did they this patch, or patch 28.1, Springfest 2024? Shout out to the videos, the case openings. If you guys haven't checked them out, check them out. Well, I'm surprised they didn't highlight that right here. That beautiful red and gold M24 Chroma Skin was sick.
Furthermore, Rondo will undergo.
Now the changes that they added, this bridge right here,
will undergo general enhancements and bug
that can be good and bad.
Offer a better gameplay experience. So stay tuned. Next on the list are fresh gunplay adjustments. We've heard your voices loud and clear. In update 29.1,
just a quick shot. The helmet, I think when they added the helmets, when you get shot in the head, the helmet comes flying off, is awesome. It reminds me of the Wolfenstein enemy territory days, which we'll bring that up when we get to the Panzers here shortly. But in Wolfenstein enemy territory, if you shot someone in the head, it would literally pop their helmet off the exact same way. Super cool.
Expect buffs for the AKM and Scar L. Along with
Scar's getting a buff.
MK12 suppressor sound, firing from the driver's seat, and the
There's some good changes so far.
Gear up for an elevated PUBG experience with these revamped weapons.
Ducati.
Let's go. All. We are announcing a grand collaboration with the
I love the red and black
manufacturer.
It's very cool. Ooh.
Race through the battlegrounds with unparalleled style, speed, and sophistication. Wondering how to obtain these iconic skins? Check out the upcoming Ducati announcement for all the details. And as usual, this update comes packed with even more content.
That bike looks cool, chat.
For a new ranked season, a new survivor pass, bot refinements,
new survivor pass, okay.
In-game challenges, the emergency cover flare, and the EMP zone. For the full scoop, make sure to dive into the patch notes. And we'll see you on the battlegrounds.
See you in the battlegrounds. Rondo is a really big map. Really big map. But it does look really nice, and I think with a lot of the open areas, the area in general, there's just a lot of open field. And I think that it was their intention to make the ground destructible from the get-go. So it kind of makes sense, but it's really big still. So we're gonna jump right in here. These are the map regions, or map selections for SC and Asia. And then we've got NA. I'm part of the NA crew, so I'm going to take a look a little deeper dive in that. I was a little disappointed to see that still Sandhawk and still Destin are not in this area here. Let me know what you guys think. What your favorite maps are. What your favorite map lineup is. I'm kind of curious to see what everybody would say. So make sure you share that in the comments. I personally love Sandhawk, and I like Destin. Destin's probably one of my biggest, my favorite big maps. It's really sad, honestly, to see it as a lower probability. That's 11%, which is crazy. So I hope in the future we see a change to that. So world, of course, destructible terrain. It looks like it's about enough for someone to crouch down in to shoot out of. You probably would have to prone to not get shot, but we'll see what that looks like very soon. Terrain made of concrete, cement, rock, and stone is not destructible. So it basically means if it's a paved road. It's a simple way of looking at it. A maximum depth is 1.3 meters, so it might be enough if you dig a deep enough hole that you can stand in it. I just don't know what the actual measurements look like within PUBG quite yet, so that's be interesting. We've got the new pickaxe here. They're going to make a progressive out of this in a matter of no time. It's coming, ladies and gentlemen. EMP zone, this got a nice change. So the frequency occurrence has been reduced and will not be created after phase 2. This is super interesting because on Rondo specifically, this would go off all the time, and it got a little excessive. Just like the sandstorm on Miramar. I think the worst one was definitely a tornado though on Vikindi, where there were some times before they made adjustment, which was not that long. It was probably about a month ago. It would actually go on for 3 or 4 minutes straight, and sometimes it was the whole entire final circle. So nobody was doing anything for 3 or 4 minutes because you couldn't move at all, and you're sitting there taking damage. Cover flare has been reduced from 3 down to 2. I personally am not a big fan of this change. I actually like the fact that the emergency cover flare was a little bit bigger. I think they're a little bit too heavy now. I mean, honestly, you're almost better off on average carrying more smokes, but they definitely make a big difference. The size has also been slightly reduced. I think the size is actually a pretty good spot. You know, it really made a difference. It made it worth carrying them. The distance between each airdrop is also have been reduced. So that could be helpful. You know, you could hide behind the two cover now. So if you want to deploy 4, you have to carry 2 flares. So that's 23 points on your backpack piece. So that's going to be pretty heavy. 46 points on your backpack just to get 4 different cover flares versus previously you'd have 6 different things, same weight. That's a big difference. The challenges have been updated, which I think was good. There's some really stupid ones in there. Like I think one of them was use a self AED, get a self AED. I think that was one of them. Another one was use an M79 smoke launcher, and you get an M79 smoke launcher, or you'd get the gun and no actual rounds for any shells, smoke shells. That was another one that was just kind of goofy. Some other area changes too, which they're probably going to be pretty neat for the game here. Adding a bridge. I actually like that there's not necessarily bridges, but being that Rondo's so big, the choke points are huge. I think it's a really big part of why I like certain maps, especially like Erangel, Sandhawk. They have water in the middle where you have to fight for certain ground in order to cross. I think those are really healthy for the game. So hopefully this will be a positive impact. We'll see. Definitely some nice terrain changes here. Absolutely love that. There's a lot of this on Rondo. Rondo is, if you look at it, 64 squares. All 64 squares are playable, if I'm not mistaken, or it's like 63. Whereas on your average map, out of the 64, it's probably like 56 are actually playable. The rest of them are really not somewhere you'd ever go. So I guess on Rondo here, we have like 1 square here on the bottom that would not be playable. Gunplay changes. So the SCAR is coming. You know what this means, ladies and gentlemen? This is the next Progressive. We just know it at this point. They're going to want people trying this thing out. If it's not the next one, it's going to be within the next quarter here. SCAR L gets a rate of fire increase from 625 to 650 rounds per minute, with some decreasing of the horizontal and the vertical recoil. 4% is actually pretty high. I don't know if you guys have used the SCAR a lot. It is my least favorite AR for sure, but it's also one of the easiest ones to shoot already. So that'll be really interesting to see what that looks like. AKM gets a buff. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go. For those who's got that progressive Santa helper, let's go. I love the AK. You have to be feeling it to really run with it wild though, but I think that's a nice buff. Panzerfaust. So this is something that I've been asking for, I mean, gosh, since it came out. An equipping animation has been added. So meaning when you pick it up, and I think somebody mentioned this. I think it was CDOM. So shout out to CDOM on that one. On Twitter, he mentioned that this was like an Easter egg for it. I didn't believe they were going to do it, but I think it's really, really good and really positive thing for the game. Just like Wolfenstein Enemy Territory, the game I talked about earlier. In that game, when you shoot the Panzer, it would go, and then it would shoot. So it'd have like a 2-second charge time. This is essentially the same thing, but it's an animation. I think it's really healthy for the game. I can't tell you how frustrating it is to hot drop like 6 times in a row, and out of the 6 times you hot drop, you get panzered by someone who just picked it up. Pick it up and blow you up, and it just gets kind of excessive. And you kind of have to ask yourself, does it bring a positive impact to the game or a negative? Panzerfaust were initially introduced with Sandhawk 2.0 when they had the loot trucks that would drive around, which I actually thought those were really cool. So it'd be interesting to see those brought back on Sandhawk 1.0. Technically, I think it's 1.2. So very, very cool thing. Spawn rate at the cable car has been reduced. I don't think that was really necessary, personally. And then they've increased the world spawn rate. So I think those are both of those changes aren't necessarily headed in the right direction. But I'll take it with the equipment animation of the Panzerfaust. We're going to definitely see better gameplay. Hopefully less trolls running around. MK12, the sound of the gunfire equipped with the suppressor has been slightly increased. It was pretty quiet. And then firing from the driver's seat. Now, this one is going to impact, man, I think Wacky Jackie is going to be a little upset with this one, man. He's nuts with driving around shooting people out of cars. He's absolutely crazy with that thing. But basically it means that you're going to be able to shoot from inside a specific zone. You're not going to be able to do like a 180. So if you drive past someone, I don't think you'll be able to gangsta that guy, shoot over your shoulder, right? So we'll see how that affects people. The Ducati is coming. This is pretty cool. I'm actually really excited for, there's supposed to be a Jeep collaboration as well, but I like the bike in this game. It really is. If you need to get over rough terrain quickly, the bike is the way to go. It's very underrated. Obviously you can't shoot out of it unless you have an SMG, but the bike is underrated. So I'm excited about this one. We see some ranked changes as well. Market, in-game challenges, pickaxe, self-AED, spike strip, and C4 are not available. Very interesting that C4 is not available in ranked. I'm a little surprised by that. And then last of all, they've updated the Hall of Fame. I think that's pretty cool. I mean, shout out to those guys who won the PGC 2023. Very cool. We get the new Survivor Pass, though. We get some other updates. Make sure with your boost that you're getting your 50 coupons weekly. Save them, chat. Make sure you save them, because when the next Progressive comes out, you can dump all of those towards a new Progressive. It's way more worth it than just using them right away. So save those things. Some more artisan crafting as well. 2 new costumes. These actually look pretty cool. Let's take a closer look at that. Kind of has, this one here almost looks like almost like a World War II or a Wolfenstein-esque look. Just the way it's kind of laid out there. That's interesting. I wonder if one of the devs that worked on that game would be kind of interesting. But that's essentially it. Some other minor things that we saw fixed in this patch as well. So pretty cool. I think you guys are going to be excited about this patch. I am very much excited about it. I think the Ducati is huge, but the weapon rebalancing is my favorite. The animation add to the Panzer, let's go. This is exactly what we need. Some good rebalancing. I was shocked, though, to see that the thermal on Vikendi still has not been removed. And a lot of people have been complaining about that. I'm one of them. I think it's a really big drawback to the map, and extremely frustrating when you're playing super smart all game, but then there's no cover and you just have smokes like you should. But they should make it or something. Maybe you throw a Molotov behind your smoke and it cuts out the thermal, something like that. Some sort of other device. I know shout out to Gorf General. He talked about like some sort of other grenade that like causes like a static on the thermal so you can't see, something to counter it. But just like the blue chip reader, I think it's time for that item to go. And they've added a lot of cool stuff into the game, made a lot of cool changes. Those two, not so much. But all right, chat, thanks for watching. Keep an eye out for the next video. We're going to be releasing one very soon here with some more PUBG coolness coming. And if you guys haven't yet, stop by the YouTube and the Twitch. We're live on Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and the weekends. Thank you guys. Have a great night and see you on the battlefield.